anyway, I moved to Austin, Texas. I become a Lyft driver now, thinking it would be a fresh start. But after the 2016 election, everything changed. I had given about, between working for Lyft in LA and in Texas, I'd probably given about at least almost 5,000 rides. And after the 2016 election, it was like an evil spell had been cast over the city. Like suddenly people were just, I remember I had this one person that got in my car and they were just going off about like how white people are evil. And I was like, aren't you white? It was just, so anyway, every time I pick someone up, one of those Black Lives Matter signs, women's rights are human rights. No, human is illegal. Like those signs, I knew I was picking up a demon. Not literally, but just a dark force. And I swear, my name is Christine, and this is my WalkAway story. I grew up in Los Angeles, went to college in San Francisco, and then came back to LA to chase the Hollywood dream of acting and screenwriting. But let me tell you, that little Hollywood hustle will chew you up and spit you out. Then it's going to stomp on you and kick you into the sewer. So I was working 2 jobs just to scrape by and, constantly auditioning for roles that never reflected my talent or my training. I wanted substance. I wanted roles with gravitas, but instead I was offered stereotypical roles, like whole roles, okay? So now Hollywood's gone full DEI, which you would think would be a good thing, but nah. It's all about forced representation now. It's like, here, have a role. Not because you're talented, but because we need you to check a box. So thanks, but no thanks. I'm here for talent, not tokenism. Okay, so while I was hustling, I was also a long-term substitute teacher for LAUSD. And that's when I really started questioning things. The education system isn't designed to help kids thrive. It's designed to limit them. It focuses more on standardized tests than critical thinking and, or creativity. And don't get me started on how quick schools are to push SSRI drugs and antipsychotic drugs on kids who are just being kids, And I got out before it was all of this like critical race theory and the homosexual sex stuff at 5 years old. Thank God I got out before that, but it was still it was even more messed up. It's more messed up now, but it was messed up then. So, and I also realize these kids are brilliant, but they don't have the resources to thrive, and the chaos around them doesn't help. So teaching in South Central LA and East LA opened up my eyes to how stressed environments destroy these kids' chances. And it's not that they can't succeed, but the odds are stacked against them, if that makes sense. So I was trapped between the broken education system and like a soul-sucking entertainment industry. So I got my TEFL certificate and I moved to Taiwan. And guess what? All those stereotypes about how people in other countries don't like Black people, yeah, that's complete BS. So just the lies are piling up, right? And of course, people in Taiwan had their misconceptions. Sure, we all do. We have that about each other. But at the end of the day, they wanted the same things, health, prosperity, and peace, just like we do. And if you're cool and respectful to them, they are cool and respectful to you. It's not rocket science. Like, don't eat their pets or anything like that. But anyway, another thing, I wanted to talk about English language English language teaching is $1 billion industry. That's billion with a B. So being able to speak and function in English is a way out of poverty. And there are a lot of people outside of America that are poor. And, it really hit me that hard. I really realized how lucky I was to be a native English speaker and an American, because most Americans don't appreciate America until they have to live outside of America. And I'm talking about living somewhere where you have to pay taxes, get a driver's license, learn the language to instead of visiting. That's a whole different ballgame. But anyway, around this time, and I'm still in Taiwan, and my best friend's son was diagnosed with autism. This is right before I left, but I think he got diagnosed right before I left. And it was right after a round of vaccines. So I saw he was normal before his vaccines. And I was floored when April told me that she couldn't sue the pharmaceutical industry because of the 1986 law that was passed that gave pharmaceutical industries complete immunity. So that was a huge, I mean, the lies are just, and I think that was my biggest wake up call. It was like the floodgates had opened. So I started digging into vaccines. I joined Facebook groups with her, full of families with vaccine injured kids. And I even realized that my own asthma was caused by vaccines. And my asthma has, I've almost died a couple of times. I've really struggled with asthma since I was a baby. So the more I learned, the more I saw how much we've been lied to about health, about politics, and even about people like Obama. I mean, that can be a whole nother video about that because I drunk all the Obama Kool-Aid. I voted for him. It's embarrassing. I don't even want to tell people. But anyway, that's when I went down the rabbit hole questioning everything. If vaccines are a scam, if Obama isn't who, we thought he was, and if people abroad don't hate Black people, then what else have we been lied about? And in April 2012, my best friend April and I started our podcast, Truth or Talk, and it was our way to process truths we were uncovering, to spread awareness and to wake people up. So interestingly enough, when 2020 hit, if you're a health freedom activist like we were, we had seen the signs and we knew that a global pandemic was coming. And I know that sounds a bit haughty. Maybe I can explain in more depth in another video, but I knew something big was coming, or we did. And I say this with kindness, but the Taiwanese are too obedient. And from my experience, most Asian culture relies on keeping society in a harmonious synergy. And that's the thing I love about living in Taiwan. But there's a fact that people are they're courteous, they're kind and trusting. And people would even leave their shoes outside on a rack and nobody would steal them. I thought, to me, that was mind blowing. But even though that mentality can be extremely admirable, most people of that mindset are so strictly oblivious to the fact that there are other people that would mistake their kindness for weakness and take advantage of that. So when I started seeing things go in the directions they were, I knew that I had to get back to America because I know the Taiwanese would not fight. They couldn't fight. They would just roll over and be taken advantage of. And in America, we have guns. So that wasn't going to happen here. Another thing I was glad about being an American about. So after returning to the U.S., I became a full-time English teacher at a Taiwanese prep school. And between living in Taiwan and this job, that's when I realized another lie. Another one. The truth about Asians being genetically smarter is a myth. Those kids work their asses off. I don't know, from the age of birth. I don't know. They're studying nonstop. Regular school, private school, music lessons, Chinese school on Saturdays. And you know what's really messed up? The UC system penalizes them for being too smart. These kids sacrifice their entire childhoods and the reward points off their college applications because they're Asian. And when I found this out, I was livid. If you put in the work, if you deserve the reward, period. I don't care what race you are. And I taught kids of all races. I loved all of them. So anyway, in contrast, the schools I worked in South Central and East LA were a war zone. Those kids had no chance in such a chaotic environment. It's not their fault, but the system is rigged against them. And then there's the flip side with the Asian schools pushing STEM on kids while bleeding them dry of creativity. It kills their spirit. And it's no wonder we've got depressed, unhappy kids who can't think critically. The system is obliterated. It's broken. So by this time, I was over Hollywood. I was over teaching. And my anti-vax post on Facebook probably had already killed my career. So anyway, I moved to Austin, Texas. I become a Lyft driver now, thinking it would be a fresh start. But after the 2016 election, everything changed. I had given about... Between working for Lyft in LA and in Texas, I'd probably given about at least almost 5,000 rides. And after the 2016 election, it was like an evil spell had been cast over the city. Like suddenly people were just, I remember I had this one person that got in my car and they were just going off about like how white people are evil. And I was like, aren't you white? Like why? It was so weird. So, and I'm like, I thought it was just, so anyway, every time I pick someone up, one of those Black Lives Matter signs, women's rights are human rights. No human is illegal. Like those signs, I knew I was picking up a demon. Not literally, but just a dark force. And I swear this sign is like a certified demon card. So I was alone. I needed to talk to someone. So I kind of put Truth or Talk down for a while, and I'd started ranting on my Truth or Talk YouTube channel again. And by the way, I'm on my 4th channel now because they took the other 3 down. Why? Because I was questioning vaccines and I was talking about the election being stolen because it was. Then WalkAway happened. I saw Brandon's video. Once upon a time, I was a liberal. His long flowing locks stepping out of the blackness. It was dope. And I was hooked. And, you know, honestly, I wasn't really waking up to a lot of the new information that people are waking up to now. I'd already kind of gone through that process, right? But I was alone. And WalkAway showed me that I wasn't alone. And the left, let's be real, okay? We're fighting more than just the Democratic Party. We're fighting evil from the depths of hell. Maybe I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I'm for real. But the left, they gaslight you into thinking you're crazy, that something is wrong with you. That's how they break you. That's how they try and break your spirit. But WalkAway gave me hope. It gave me community. The stories I saw, some shocking, you know, some funny, some sad, reminded me of the thread that connects all of us human beings. We have something to teach one another, you know? And it's like when WalkAway came out, I was like, Netflix, new WalkAway testimonial just dropped today. So, you know, those stories really got me through. And if you have a story about how you walked away, you shouldn't enter the contest. The WalkAway contest. There's a contest going on right now. There's a $10,000 prize. Don't act like y'all don't need the money. Y'all know y'all poor, y'all broke. Y'all jobless, hanging up coats. You know, and with all the censorship going on, another thing I want to mention, there was a congressional hearing a few months ago in which it was revealed that Facebook deleted the original WalkAway page. So they've lost like all those beautiful, amazing stories. So now's the time to make new testimonials. There are people that are constantly walking away every day, all the time. You know, every lie, they're learning a new lie, they're having a new experience, and it just hits them like lightning. They're like, bam, I gotta walk away. So when people see other people's stories, they don't feel alone. They feel, you know, they feel part of a group. It's like, what do they call that? Like group therapy, because the left is a cult, okay? But those stories kept me sane when I thought I was losing my mind alone in a big city full of leftists. And I promise, if you make a testimonial, your story is going to touch someone. So they don't want us connecting with each other, because when we do, we get stronger. When we get stronger, we walk away. When we walk away, it's game over for the evildoers. So walk away.
For more great videos, download the WalkAway Social app at walkawaysocial.com. Share your testimonial and join our community.